Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ads from Unity Trading Group. Welcome to your Tuesday night update. Before we begin, however, hit that like button, tap the subscribe button if you can, and of course, tick the little bell to stay updated on all of our future content. More to come on Gravy Train, of course. With Gravy Train, I'm talking about our custom indicator. We are sitting around that lower level in the way of BTC currently, but let's have a discussion about Bitcoin and where we are going. So yesterday we spoke pretty heavily about this level here, and of course the levels that I was looking at were the 54k mark and of course the 60k mark for the break to either side of this wedge formation that we were seeing yesterday, which could have broken in either direction. To the downside was a more likely scenario. If you recall, I was speaking about our RSI level being respected underneath the 50, which is quite bearish, and of course our indicators pointing in that direction also, most notably steamroller down the bottom here, which we are observing a little bit of oversold condition now, and that's coinciding nicely with the Gravy Train cloud, of course, and our level of demand there. With demand, I want to speak a little bit about how it's looking currently. So we have eaten away in terms of this candlestick here, and we have been respected currently on the top of our level of demand. So a push or a relief from here could be on the cards for the immediate term. A relief being something similar to retesting possibly this level here that we were finding our support currently, or previously or prior to the price action we are seeing now. So it could be something along the lines of, if I'm to get the path, so we've had this movement, could be something along the lines of that we're seeing for BTC. It really needs a little bit of a relief rally, in my opinion, on the 4-hour time frame. You can't just expect it to pull back, to 47 or even 46k straight away. We do need a little bit of relief on this time frame. It looks like we'll probably get that relief for the immediate term, because it's not surging towards the downside with some violence, of course, and we're not seeing seas of red currently. We're pretty all over the shop at the moment if we're looking to the right hand side of the current chart. So it does come to fruition, or it does speak to me in the sense that we'll probably have a little bit of a relief rally before a movement down, or a meaningful movement to the downside, if we are to see that occur. That would be the 51k level of demand that I would be looking at for the next area of interest, and that would be down here. And I've drawn that with this very small pivot point on the 4-hour time frame, which is this candlestick here. If we are to see this reverse, however, I need to see this being broken. So our previous level of support at 57,000 needs to be broken with some force and a close above. That's what we'll call a like a dead cat. Sorry, excuse me, not a dead cat, but a fake out. So a fake out coming down here, retesting our level of demand and moving to the upside. That would be a fake out, but it remains to be seen. Like I said, we need to wait for some more indication of it. Are we going to move below this level of demand, or are we going to move to the upside? To the downside is my pick. A little bit of a relief towards that 57 mark is probably on the cards for me personally, and I wouldn't be too concerned if we did move to the upside for the immediate term, just to solidify our movements to the downside. But we'll see what happens. We have made a lower low on this time frame currently. Anyway, moving on with ETH, we've seen the same come to fruition with ETH. We are sitting in the same spot in the way of our steamroller indicator, and that is the oversold condition down the bottom here. We have still maintained being underneath that 50 RSI for ETH, and of course we are sitting around, in no man's land pretty much. But that's the area that I'm looking at currently. So a very small pivot point at this point. We had a very small pivot towards the upside, so there is a little bit of a demand here, should I say, but it is very weak and it is very small. So if we are to move to the downside, we will surely see ETH back at 1560, but that remains to be seen over the course of this evening, exactly like BTC. So a very similar trend emerging, and of course if I'm looking at ADA, it is in a very similar position as BTC is, and you've got the remnants of yesterday's update still on the chart. But we are still sitting now at the 78.6. Look, in all honesty, a lot of these USD pairs that I look at, moving to the downside is healthy. You know, amongst the run that we've had when crypto, just in general, over the last little bit, has been phenomenal. But it needs to be warranted with a little bit of a pullback every now and again. And you can treat these pullbacks as levels of opportunity where it's just another area for us to average in at, or we can express DCA strategies, or, you know, look at the extremities on the higher time frames to really gauge, are we going to continue downwards more so, or are we going to continue the upwards direction? So look, it's always good to check multiple time frames, and of course stick to your trade plan if you do have one, and I do recommend you do have one. But I'm more looking at these as opportunities. So I'm more, not so much looking at areas like this, but I'm looking at extremities like we're seeing down here at 85 cents for ADA. That might be an area that I would look at for a more, you know, meaningful buy for something like this, for a continued upside potential in the way of our market. The market is still bullish. I'm very clear on that. We need to see significant movements to the downside to change my opinion on the market sentiment. But in any case, the market is still bullish, and I'm treating these as levels of opportunity. Anyway, moving on, we'll have a look at the dominance charts. So BTC dominance is something that we've been looking at for quite some time, and it's something you need to look at quite regularly. And why I say that is because it's going to give you the opportunity to really move with the market in the way of altcoin trades. So if we're observing a downtrend on the BTC dominance chart, it's probably a good idea to start, you know, playing around and having a good look at altcoin trades. BTC pairs, of course, will be more destined to follow this in the inverse sense. So BTC pairs will go up with the dominance chart moving to the downside. But we are sitting at a very critical level of demand here at the dominance chart. And of course, we are looking at a level of oversold, or an oversold condition here now. If I put on Gravy Train on the chart there, we are still in a sell position, but that can change very quickly if we come up here and retest and enter our cloud structure there on the 4-hour time frame. If we're looking at the daily, we are still currently in a significant downtrend for Gravy Train, but of course we have been testing this level for quite some time, so it could be a level of reversal. Is that going to come to light over the next little bit? It might, but we need to observe this over the next couple of days. In general sense, the BTC dominant chart's been moving to the right-hand side for the last number of weeks. So if we go from here, for example, to about here, we're looking at 47 days of right-hand movement for the dominance chart. So it's just been fluffing around. So a lot of money's been moving into the alts and out of the alts back into BTC. That's why you see this choppiness on the market dominance. But in any case, the whole point is keep it on your radar, and obviously keep it charted up so you know which direction it's heading in at all times. Last one I've looked at tonight is XRP USD. It's been moving to the upside. This is what I like to see for XRP. Of course, if you've been following UTG for quite some time, you'd know that I am an avid trader of XRP, and it does work wonders, and it does pay me quite well, to be honest with you. But for XRP, moving in this direction is a good thing for me. However, I'm no stranger to a pullback, and that's probably what we'll see. If we see BTC move to the downside, then we'll more than likely see XRP follow suit. And I think if we are to see anything for XRP, it would be looking at around that 50 cent mark, or that 51 cent mark, between 52 and 50, I guess, at around that 50 Fibonacci, which rests at 51,156. So a pullback to that point at least will be healthy in the way of the USD pairing for XRP, and I think that's what will come to light over the next little bit, seeing that we're quite overbought in this instance here. Next up, the DXY. So the DXY is a regulated market, not financial advice at all, just ideas and opinions of us at UTG. But we have been following this for quite some time, as you would imagine. And of course, we are retesting our level of supply at this given point. So over the course of the last day or two, we've really had a look and tested the waters under the 23.6. And we haven't been able to stay under that point for any significant portion of time. We are retesting this level of supply now. Tonight could be the night that we break through this level of supply and of course test the upper level at 92.6. And of course we've had run rejection at that point already on the left hand side there. So in my opinion, it could be the night for that. We've been testing the liquidity underneath this level here and it's quite good. It's been holding the price up for quite some time. So that could come to light tonight. And of course, we've been holding on to that 50 RSI. If you don't have the 50 RSI painted on your RSI chart or your RSI indicator, do so please, because it will give you valuable insights into which direction these markets are going to move. We are staying above the 50 RSI, so therefore we are bullish somewhat on this time frame. And of course, that's what I'm looking for tonight. But thank you for joining me this evening. Of course, I'm Ads from UTG. You can find out more about Gravy Train down below in the link in the description. You can find all of our links to follow us down there as well. Hit the subscribe button if you like what you see. Share it around, of course, if you think anyone else will be interested in what we do here at Unity Trading Group. And of course, until then, until tomorrow, I'll see you in the Discord. Bye for now.